Adding MMI mock interviews to your arsenal of MMI prep will undoubtedly reduce the stress and fear of the unknown prior to test day, but it will also provide the best strategies by understanding the test format and building confidence to answer any question type thrown at you by evaluators. So in this video, I'll show you a sample of a real consultation session conducted by one of our admissions experts for a student enrolled in our MMI Prep program, just to get a glimpse of how students can truly benefit from expert feedback during their multiple mini-interview prep. Hi, I'm Natalie Stoperman and I'm an admissions associate here at BeMo. Before we get started, subscribe on whatever social media channel that you're watching this on so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And if you'd like us to help you with your MMI interview prep, visit BeMoMMI.com to schedule your free initial consultation. And FYI, check out the timestamps in the description of this video so you can navigate to specific sections that you're interested in. Here's what we're going to cover: a practice MMI interview question, a sample MMI session, and expert feedback. And we're giving away $50 Amazon gift cards every week to the best comments and questions, so comment below for your chance to win. And we also have some important tips on how to ace the MMI, and we'll talk about that throughout the video, so make sure that you watch the whole thing so you don't miss it. Well, let's get started. Let's start with the sample MMI prompt. Your best friend has recently approached you to join his new test preparation company. He tells you this is going to be super easy because there are a lot of other companies out there that we could model. We should simply find the most successful company and do what they do best. Now, as you get involved, you notice that he is practically copying material from competitors and claiming the material as his own to speed up the growth of his business. How would you approach your friend about this? Now that we have the mock prompt, let's jump to the sample MMI session.
Good day there. How are you?
Good. My name is Varun. How are you?
I'm doing good, Varun. Pleasure meeting you. Please proceed.
And what was your name?
Janet. Thank you for asking.
Janet, nice to meet you. So the situation that I was given was that one of my friends asked me to join his test preparation company. He felt that this would be a fairly easy business venture because there are already a lot of resources out there. As I've gotten involved, though, what I'm starting to see is that he's essentially copying material from these other test prep companies to try and, pick up the pace of building up the business. So this is problematic. One, because it's, of course, unethical to present someone else's material as your own. And two, it's very likely illegal. So given that I am a partner in this business and I want to maintain a positive relationship with my best friend as business partners, I would first go about this by simply asking him about the source of this material. From there, if he's very clear about how he simply copied it from another test prep company, I would really try to explain to him why this is wrong, because it's illegal and this could put us in a lot of turmoil from a legal standpoint. So hopefully at that point he's able to understand that this is not something that we are able to do, and I would also be upfront in that I am not interested in engaging in any of these types of business practices that are unethical, because those are things that are very important to me. At that point, if I would hope that he would understand that this is not how we can go about conducting our business, but if he is simply not understanding and not willing to change his practices, I would then explain to him that I'm not interested in taking this business any further with him and would choose to opt out. Of course, this situation, I think, can be a little complicated because me and this other individual are friends outside of the business. But that being said, in contexts like this, it's important to keep your personal and professional lives separate. So that would be one principle I would keep in mind. Overall, I think being level-headed and calm throughout these discussions is also really important. One principle that I learned previously is that you should never view these types of disagreements as an interpersonal conflict, but rather you and the other individual are trying to resolve the situation you have together. So really, again, keeping in mind that this individual is your partner. So as I said, keep a calm, level-headed attitude and be really upfront about my concerns, and try to explain to him why these practices are unethical, and hope he's able to understand that moving ahead. Thank you.
Baron, should he proceed to be unethical with or without you, what would you say to your friend then?
If he were to continue being unethical, at that point, I would tell him that this is simply something that I strongly discourage him to continue doing, because as his friend, I care for him, and this could land him in a lot of legal turmoil. And also explain to him that I feel that that abiding to law and other ethical principles is important to me. So as a friend, of course, I'm giving him that courtesy of, not jumping the gun, but explaining that if he were to continue this further, I would feel an obligation to report to the other test prep company what type of practices he's been engaging in.
Anything else?
That'll be all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
So, station 2,
Mm-hmm.
we gave you another scenario. Now, what type of scenario was this?
I believe it was a ethical or moral dilemma.
Potentially, right? Good.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the pressing issue here?
The pressing issue was just the legal conflict of using another test prep company's material.
So essentially the well-being, right, of this company, ensuring that it's ethical, and also the well-being of your friend, right? Making sure that your friend's okay. Okay, good. So let's go into this one with respect to the structure, right? The breakdown 3 steps that we usually talk about. So first and foremost, you said that you would begin by simply asking, right, about the material and seeing hoping at this point that they're not taking anything from the prep company. Okay, so I was happy you did ask, but your first approach wasn't as thorough in terms of investigating and remaining non-judgmental, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to proceed to go about how you mentioned it, and then I'll talk about what we could have done to be a bit stronger. Then you went right into, I want to engage with him, and I'm going to proceed to tell him and just full on educate him, right? Tell him at this point that this is not good. I'm going to opt out if need be. And then I kind of probed you and pushed you, well, what if he's still acting unethical? And then I finally got you to the extreme, which was, well, yes, I might have to report him. The ideas were right in some cases, but you didn't gather as much information. So with respect to the 3 steps that we talked about, so always investigate. So first and foremost, investigate, gather information. So what you could have done here was, I'm going to pull my friend aside privately, right? Always non-confrontationally, respectfully, whichever terms you want to use, and find out, what's happening. What in fact, if it is true, potentially this is a rumor, maybe it's something I misheard. If the test company is using the same materials, right? On one hand, less extreme hypotheticals. On one hand, he could pretty much say, oh no, I bought into that licensing, right? So we're able to use that.
Okay.
Or he might actually have no idea. Maybe it's not he was not managing that part of the project, right? Or maybe it's a free-for-all, right? It's a simple business model that everyone uses. So first and foremost, what type is in fact your friend copying? If in fact it is copying, is it something that he's aware of, right? Is it something that he's bought into? Is it something that's unethical, illegal, right? And then in what manner, to what extent? Because obviously the severity of the case, it's going to implicate how you could help your friend, right? So at that point, then you proceed, if in fact you approach your friend and you say, and he says, yes, maybe he's taking some shortcuts or he's doing a few things. Depending on the severity, you always proceed to always educate then, right? Always give your friend, inform him. highlighting the consequences, and that's what I wanted you to do in this case, right? What are the consequences? Legal sanctions, right? Hurts your reputation, closes your business down, you're out of a job. What about your family? What about your children if you have any? What about the people that work with you, right? There's a ripple effect at that point. So you educate if in fact your friend is in the wrong, what the consequences are. What are ways we can solve this now? If he's copying a simple logo, well, what if, let's collaborate, let's work together, let's come up with our own logo. If it's a business model, maybe we can buy into this, right? Or maybe we can ask for help. Maybe we can call this company. Maybe there's consulting services that we can talk to and which could help us. So, we could do things ethically.
Okay.
Right? And then, of course, the compassion component too. Why is your friend taking shortcuts? It doesn't justify it. That's not good behavior. But why? And there could be lots of things. We're running low on our budget and had to cut out, the marketing person and have to do everything. So unfortunately, I did that. Or my partner lost their job, so I have to now bring in lots of money, and I'm panicking, so I didn't know what to do. So there's also, that personal connection where you could help out and you could empathize with them as to why they're doing something. That doesn't justify it. But in worst case to come, you always educate, always give someone a chance to right their wrong. And in worst case scenario, if you don't, then that's when you escalate it and potentially report it, because there are lots of consequences to this, right? If your friend was being unethical, what are the consequences to this? Right? People not getting qualified, test companies, depending on, we don't know, it's kind of vague. What test company is a qualification for work, qualification for school? So regardless, we're ruining quality, which could tamper with service, which could tamper with people, depending on, who's using this test company.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there are great implications. So always investigate. Right? Gather information, talk to someone privately. On one hand, it could be this case. If that is, how do you proceed? On the extreme end, right? If it is in the wrong, find out why that is. Let's collaborate. Let's work together. Let's strategize. Let's come up with a solution. And then why are you doing this? Right? And if they're persistent, they're continuing to be unethical, highlighting the consequences to them of how that could affect other people, affect themselves, and worst comes to worst, they do not stop their behavior, you report it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So I think one principle that I'm kind of noticing, or for going about these types of questions, is always take baby steps. Basically, like look at every aspect of every angle of the
you can't look at every angle only because you don't have the luxury of time. But what you could do is less extreme, right? You always want to start off by saying, I have to gather information because why? Well, on one hand, I can't be judgmental. Then give me a few reasons. They don't have to be mine. You can come up with your own reasons as to why you shouldn't just jump to a hasty conclusion. But you also can't be naive. What if someone is negligent? What if someone is unethical? How would you proceed? And that's the logic.
And that's our advice on how to ace the multiple mini interview and how to prepare with MMI Mock Interviews. Check out our blogs to read more about interview strategies. I've included a few links in the description of this video for easy access. And if you'd like us to help you ace the MMI, visit BeMoMMI.com to schedule your free initial consultation. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, so please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And if you have any questions about MMI mock interviews and how to get expert feedback, let me know in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And don't forget that we're giving away $50 Amazon gift cards every week to the best comments and questions. So comment below for your chance to win. Thanks for watching and see you next time.